The next day I walk straight past Nina and ask May if she wants to climb some trees with me, Trixie, and Zach. I can see out the corner of my eyes Nina's eyebrows crease in confusion, as May and I have rarely ever spoken to each other, nor have we ever played together. Sure, she smiles. Okay, let's go. I smile and wave for her to follow. Nina stands there watching us, then runs after us. Hey, I want to climb trees too, you know. I stop and face her. No, only my friends can join. What are you talking about, Magnus? I'm your best friend. You were never my friend, I growl and regroup with others. Nina's face turns somber, with a hint of confusion. That's harsh, don't you think, Magnus? You and Nina have been the best of friends since you were both babies, Flint says. No, they forced us to be friends. Our mothers planning constant playdates every day, and if she was my best friend, she wouldn't be getting me into trouble every single day. Nina no longer exists to me, I snarl. Flint and Josie flinch and give each other a sad look. You are welcome to join us as well, just not Nina. Flint and Josie hesitate at first, but decide to follow us, as May grabs my hand with a smile and drags me towards the trees. Come on, guys, let's see who can climb to the top first, she giggles. Sorry, Flint and Josie say to Nina. We want to go with them too. Nina looks down at her feet to hide the rogue tear sliding down her cheek. We race towards the trees and I'm the first to arrive with May. Moments later, Flint, Josie, Trixie, and Zach arrive. I could sense Nina watching us play from a distance, but I completely ignore her. Gripping onto branches one after another, I'm the first to reach the top of the tree. May climbs the same tree and sits next to me on the top branch. Flint, Josie, Trixie, and Zach shuffle along the huge, thick tree branches and make themselves comfortable as we all admire the view of Shadow Crest. We're so lucky to live here, Josie says. I couldn't agree with her more. A forest of trees surrounds Shadow Crest with mountains in the distance. The buildings and houses are the Victorian styles with steeply pitched roofs, painted iron railings, and large porches. I look over at the Packhouse mansion. Excitement fills me for the day I become alpha, but I can't help but feel something is missing. It's digging at my heart and soul, eating me away inside. I've never had this feeling before. Are you okay, Magnus? May asks. I look to May, who is only 1 year younger than Nina, and, unlike Nina's brown doe-like eyes, May's are blue. The rest of her features are like Nina's, except May's hair is much shorter. Yeah, I'm fine. Why do you ask? Well, you seem to be lost in thought and look sad. Oh, sorry, I was just thinking about things. I know we have spoken little before today, but if you ever want to talk about anything, you can always talk to me, she says in a hopeful tone. Thanks, May. I'm sure one day I will open up my thoughts to you, I smile. May blushes and casually looks away. Last one down is a rotten egg, Zach yells. We all quickly swing down and drop from one branch to the next. I won, I smirk. You only won because Nina isn't here. We all know she is the fastest of all of us, Josie poots. If you mention her name to me again, Josie, then you can join Nina and become non-existent to me too. Josie has a hurt look on her face and steps back while Flint glares at me. Let's go to Shadow Lake for a swim before we go back to the Packhouse, Trixie suggests. I nod in approval and head towards the lake. With May by my side, Trixie approaches and walks by my other side. Unbeknownst to me, they glare at each other behind my back. We arrive at the lake. I pull my shirt off, then my socks and shoes, and dive right into the cool water. Zach and Flint join me in the deep end, while May and Josie roll up the legs of their pants and stay in the shallow area. I knew we were going to come here, she smiles and removes her shirt and pants. She is wearing her bathers underneath and swims over to join us. We duck under the water and hold our breaths for as long as we can. Zach and Trixie are the first to swim back up for air, followed by Flint. Feeling like I'm not enjoying myself as much as I usually would, I decided to swim away from them and hide behind a large boulder in the lake. I pull myself up for air and peek over the top of the boulder, watching Zach, Trixie, and Flint waiting for me to swim back up. Their faces change to that of worry as they think I'm still down there. Magnus? Flint says. They all look at each other and nod. Holding their breaths, they duck back down for a few moments while I stay behind the boulder. I look over at May and Josie, who are both oblivious to my joke. Trixie swims back to the surface for air and looks around in circles, confused about where I could be. Then Zach and Flint swim to the surface and panic. "Magnus!" they yell, grabbing May and Josie's attention. "We can't find him. You don't think he drowned, do you?" Trixie asks. They all panic. May and Trixie cry. Nina sprints out from the bushes and dives into the lake with great speed. "Magnus," she screams each time she comes up for breath, frantic, with tears pooling in her eyes. I can't contain my laughter any longer. I lift myself onto the boulder in hysterics. "Magnus, that was not funny," Flint yells. "That was mean, Magnus. We thought you had drowned," Trixie cries. "Not cool, Magnus," Zach growls. "Come on, guys, don't be like that." I swim to the shore to where May and Josie are. As soon as I step onto the grass, I can't help but sense someone is behind me. I look to see tiny little Nina glaring up at me with her hands on her hips and tears streaming down her cheeks. "Don't be like that. Are you serious, Magnus? We thought you had drowned. I thought you had drowned, and all you can say is don't be like that? I thought you were dead," she says, hitting my chest over and over. I have that strange feeling come over me again, eating at my inner conscience, my inner soul. I look over at Zach, Flint, and Trixie, who are making their way out of the lake. "We better get back home before Mum sends the warriors out looking for us," I say, treating Nina as if she was a ghost I couldn't see or hear. Everyone looks at her with sympathy. I don't know why. No one ever looked at me that way when she had played her stupid pranks on me. We walk back to the pack house, while Nina follows us slowly in the distance behind us. As soon as we arrive at the pack house, I freshen myself up and join my parents for dinner with the rest of the pack house. Nina sits in her usual seat and tries to make eye contact. I pay her no attention and watch her shoulders drop out of the corner of my eyes. "Bed early tonight, kids. The weekend is over and you have school tomorrow," my mother says. We all moan and grizzle except for Nina, who stays silent. "Is everything okay, sweetie?" Leon asks Nina. She shrugs and stays silent as she pushes the food on her plate around with her fork. "What did you get up to today?" Amelia asks. She looks up at me for a moment, but I keep myself busy eating my dinner. "I climbed trees and swam at the lake with the others, Mum. Sounds like you had a fun time." "Yeah, fun," she mumbles. After a couple of months had passed, Nina stopped greeting me each day, knowing I would not respond. Now in high school, she had become a loner, keeping to herself in class and went to the library at recess and lunch. May would elbow me and glare if she caught me staring at Nina, but then again, she would always get jealous and cranky at any girl I glanced at. "Stop elbowing me, May," I growl. "Stop staring at Nina, then. You haven't spoken to her in 7 years, yet you are always staring at her. Besides, you should just be focusing your attention on me. Everyone knows we will be mates," she beams. "Not if I can help it." "You're such an ass, Magnus," she growls. "Yes, I'm told daily by many girls I have a nice ass," I smirk. "Who is telling you that? I demand to know their names right now," she says, glaring at every female in the classroom. "May, you need to get over it." "No, you need to get over Nina." I glare at May, making her cower back in her seat. "I can't get over someone I was never into in the first place," I snap. May crosses her arms and looks away. We spend the last 10 minutes of maths in silence. As soon as the bell rings, she clings onto my arm as if we never argued, smiling as we make our way to the cafeteria. I sit at the popular table that is reserved for myself and my friends. Zach, Trixie, and Flint join me at my table, along with our school friends, Paul and Claire. Biting into my salad roll, I watch as Nina walks in and takes her seat in the far corner. Meanwhile, nearly every female is trying to grab my attention. Claire places her hand on my shoulder and sits next to me. "Hey, Magnus." "Hi, Claire," I say and continue to eat my roll. "So, I'm having a party on Saturday and wanted to invite you along." "Oh, a party," Trixie butts in. "Okay," I mumble. "Great. I was also hoping you would come to the party as my date." She says nervously. I stare at her in thought. She is one of the most beautiful girls at school. She has nice long legs and a decent-sized bust with long red hair and green eyes. Thinking of how gorgeous she is, I somehow stared back at Nina again. With her long brown hair, stunning brown eyes, a petite figure, I could easily wrap my arms around and lift her with one hand. I wonder what her hair smells like. Does her skin feel as smooth as it looks? Wait, why am I thinking of Nina this way? I cut her out of my life years ago for a reason. So why am I so curious about her? Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever gone a day without thinking of her. Excuse me, Claire. You can't just ask him out when he is already claimed, May growls. Magnus is a free man, May. You two aren't dating, and just because you think you are his mate doesn't mean you will be. Zach, Trixie, and Flint back away from the table just in time as May leaps towards Claire. A fight breaks out between them, and I sigh in disbelief. Everyone in the cafeteria crowd around them and all chant, "Fight, fight, fight, fight!" Nina rushes towards the crowd and sees Claire is winning the fight. I go to pull them apart, but Nina jumps in front of May to protect her. "Nina, what are you doing?" May yells as she touches the deep scratch across her cheek. "Stopping you from getting seriously injured." "I don't need a freak like you to protect me," she yells. The cafeteria suddenly goes quiet and all eyes are on Nina. I see deep sadness for a moment that she quickly hides. "Claire is beating the crap out of you with ease, and no one else seems to want to save your ass," she says, then looks at me. I look away, avoiding eye contact. "Yeah, well, I bet I could beat the crap out of you with ease," she yells, and as she lunges towards Nina, I grab May around the waist and pull her back into my chest before she could hurt Nina. "That's enough, all of you," I growl fiercely for everyone to hear. Everyone submits and lowers their heads. "Trixie, take May to the nurse's office to get her wounds checked out and cleaned up." May smiles and looks up at me as if she has fallen in love with me even more. Of course, I care about May, but not in the way she wants me to. Right now, I just want her out of here and away from Nina before she tries to hurt her again. "Everyone, get back to lunch," I yell. Everyone returns to their tables except for Nina, who remains standing there staring at me. As I'm about to sit down, she takes a few steps towards me. "I know you don't want to hear my voice or even look at me, but I just wanted to say thank you for stopping her, as much as she hates me. She is still my sister, and I could never fight her or hurt her." My eyes against my will instantly connect with hers. Her innocent eyes remind me of a fawn about to be eaten by a wolf. My eyes trail down her smooth skin, past her small nose and to her lips. I wonder how sweet her lips would taste. "Magnus?" Claire says. I shake my head at my thoughts. I need to stop thinking about Nina and move on if I'm going to be the best alpha that everyone will respect and admire. Stepping closer to Claire, I ignore Nina and caress the red mark on Claire's cheek. "Are you okay?" I ask Claire. Nina slumps and walks away. "I'm fine. She only slapped me once." I watch Nina's back as she continues to walk away. Maybe if I date Claire, I'll stop thinking about her? "Claire?" "Yes, Magnus." "I didn't have time to answer your question." I smile. I can see Zach, Trixie, Paul's, and Flint's faces watching on in anticipation. "I would love to be your date for the party." Everyone in the cafeteria stops what they are doing and stares at Claire and me in shock. Disappointment and heartbreak etch into the faces of all the females. "Seriously, you will be my date?" I nod my head. She jumps up and wraps her arms around me, squealing with delight. I gently place her back down. Zach, Flint, and I finish our lunch, then run some laps around the oval. The bell goes, and it's time for science class. As we walk through the corridor to science, I am met with a furious May. "Magnus, why am I hearing that you are going to Claire's dumb party as her date?" "Because I accepted her offer," I say, then step around her to continue to class. May runs back in front of me and places her hand on my chest. I look down at her hand, then back at her with a scowl. "Magnus, you can't do this to me, to us. We should be together. I have always had feelings for you, and I know it's because we will be mates. If you go on this date with Claire, you would be practically cheating," she sobs. "It's not cheating, and I highly doubt we will be mates, May." "You don't know that we won't be mates." "Well, you don't know we will be mates. Only the moon goddess knows." A hurt look crosses her face. "Please, Magnus, you can't ditch me for Claire. My reputation will be destroyed." "Is that all you care about, May, your reputation? How people will see you? You should spend that time with people that care about you and want to be around you. It should never matter what anyone else thinks of you," I say and storm off into science class, running late because of May. I walk inside the room, and a strange feeling runs through my body as I see the only vacant seat is next to Nina. "Magnus, nice of you to join the class. Just because you are the future alpha does not mean you get special privileges." Now, take your seat before you get yourself detention. I growl under my breath. Yes, Mr. Thompson, and plonk my books onto the table and take my seat next to Nina. Nina stiffens in surprise as I sit beside her. She looks at me and is trying to contain a smile. I try to tune her presence out and tune into Mr. Thompson. He talks about different types of soil, which are low in nutrients and which are high in nutrients. Nina's pen flicks back and forth as she listens to Mr. Thompson. Her hands are small and dainty, and her nails have been freshly manicured and painted with a very light, subtle pink. Her long brown hair draped down her arms. I watch as she tucks her hair behind her ear, revealing a gold earring and exposing her nape. My eyes focus on the nape of her neck. I feel my heart racing. It pounds faster and faster. I break out into a sweat as I feel my heartbeat pounding erratically through my chest. Magnus! Magnus, Mr. Thompson yells. I fall off my chair. Everyone is laughing. I glare at the class, and they fall silent. For the second time, Magnus, take your seat. Nina gives me a look, but I grab my chair and take my seat, continuing to ignore her. Now, as I was saying, the student you are all sitting next to will be your lab partners for the rest of the term. What? I say, slamming my fist on the table. It breaks in half. My books fall down with Nina's, and all eyes are on me. I'm not partnering with Nina for the rest of the term. Nina raises her hand. Mr. Thompson, I have to agree with Magnus. I'd rather be lab partners with the classroom guinea pig in the cage over there. At least its IQ would be higher than Magnus's, she says. The room roars with laughter. Quiet, quiet, everyone, Mr. Thompson shouts. The room becomes quiet, minus the low giggles everyone tries to hold in. Now, Magnus, you have detention for being late and for not paying attention and the destruction of school property. But, I try to argue back. Nina laughs and I glare at her. As for you, Nina, you will be lab partners with Magnus whether or not you like it, and you will also join him in detention today after school. What? Mr. Thompson, that's not fair. As is life, Nina, he growls. Nina and I sit back in our seats, with our arms crossed and backs facing each other, since we no longer have a table to face, and we are both struggling to hold our tongues to not get into further trouble. The bell goes. Everyone leaves as Nina and I squat down to collect our books. Of course, the books mixed up when they fell. As we collect our books, we go to grab the same book, and I end up grabbing her hand instead. We pause and look at our hands. Her hand feels so soft and warm. We look up at each other for a split second, and I quickly let go of her hand as if it burnt me. Grabbing my last 2 books, I storm off to my last class for the day. May and Claire have already arrived in the English class before me. They sit on the opposite side of the room to each other. Thank goodness. The only problem now is that are both patting the seat next to them for me to sit beside them. Flint and Zach snigger in the back, wondering who I will choose to sit next to. Well, since I'm going on a date with Claire, I should probably get to know her better than I do, and it will help take my mind off Nina and what had just transpired in class with her. May frowns as I take my seat next to Claire, and I see Zach pouts as he hands $5 over to Flint. They had placed a bet as to who I chose. Claire clings onto my arm the same way May would. I can't wait until the party this Saturday. Yeah, me neither. So, what do you plan on wearing? She asks. Clothes? Of course you will wear clothes, dummy. What style of clothes? A shirt and jeans, I guess. You know what? I'm free after school tomorrow. Maybe I could come over and help you pick something out? I feel hesitant about having her over at my place. Do I even want her over? My mind flashes back to the touch of Nina's hand, and I realize one of my many questions has been answered. Yes, her skin is just as smooth as it looks. So what do you say, Magnus? Huh? About me coming over after school tomorrow unless you want me to come over today. I can cancel my shopping spree at the mall in the city with my girlfriends. Can't today. I have detention after school with Nina. The pencil in her hand snaps in half. Detention? And with Nina? Yup, I know. It's like the moon goddess wants to punish me. I do not know why, though. Well, I feel for you, Boo-Boo. It would be a curse to spend time with that freak. I will come over tomorrow after school then. I shuddered when she called me Boo-Boo, and felt anger build up inside when she referred to Nina as a freak. I shouldn't care. Why do I care? It made me angry when May had called her a freak earlier in the cafeteria as well. Claire caresses her fingers across my lower arm as we listen to Mrs. Lofts discussing our upcoming essay assignment. Claire's caresses are making me cringe. She may as well run her nails across the chalkboard, as it would give me the same effect. I take her hand and hold it so she stops touching my arm. She grins and looks over at May, who is mentally throwing daggers at me. Her skin isn't as smooth and lacks the warmth I felt with Nina's. In fact, her hands are quite clammy. Now open your textbooks to page 139 and answer the questions in your notebooks. I've never been so happy with Mrs. Lofts giving me work to do. Happily releasing Claire's hand, I grab my pen and write my answers. I purposely answer them slowly until the bell rings as an excuse to not have to hold her hand again. The bell goes. I'm happy to run home and get away from everyone, especially May and Claire. Then I remember I have dreaded detention. Returning to my locker, I pack my books away on the shelf and take my school bag. Josie runs up to me with her backpack. Ready to go home, brother? She smiles. Nope, I have detention. With Nina. Magnus, this is your chance, she squeals. Chance for what? To get on your knees and beg the hottie for forgiveness for being such a dumbass all these years. Josie, not going to happen. But why not? I never understood why you would cut your best friend off like that. You two were so close and did everything together. You wouldn't understand, Josie. You're not the one who is going to be an alpha one day. I need to be respected, not laughed at. I'm your little sister, daughter of an alpha, which means my mate will probably be an alpha from a different pack. So yeah, I get you to need to be respected just as I do as a potential Luna, but I do not know what that has to do with Nina. Just forget it. Okay, I'm going to be late for detention. I'll see you at home for dinner. Flint walks up to us as I'm about to walk away. Josie wraps her arms around Flint and sobs into his chest. Just great. After everything else going on, now Josie is upset at me. Without greeting Mr. Thompson, I enter the science room and place my bag on a table and sit in silence, avoiding eye contact with Mr. Thompson and Nina. Late again, Magnus, he huffs with his hands on hip. I shrug my shoulders and look away. Nina is sitting 4 tables away. It's obvious she also isn't happy to be here. Well, if you two think you are both going to sit here in silence, then you have another thing coming. Nina and I turn our attention back to Mr. Thompson. I have borrowed some tools and a spare tabletop from the woodwork room. You will both spend detention fixing the table you broke. What? But I never broke it, Nina protests. Do not care, Nina. Now come and take this hammer, he growls. I abruptly step down from my chair and march up to the teacher's desk, muttering and mumbling in dissatisfaction. Nina takes the nails and hammer, and I carry the tabletop. Nina kneels next to the broken table and assesses it closely. I kneel opposite her and place the tabletop down. Mr. Thompson walks towards the class doorway. I will be back in 30 minutes. I expect the table to be fixed. Yeah, I say, waving him off. Nina clears her throat. Take the legs off the broken table, then we can nail them into the new tabletop. Without saying a word, I take hold of the legs and go to pull it off, but Nina interrupts me, tapping me on the shoulder with a screwdriver. Just unscrew them like a normal person. Otherwise, you will either bend the legs or break them like you did the table. Ignoring her suggestion, I pull the leg, ripping it off, but the leg is bent and crooked as she foretold would happen. Great one, Magnus. A broken table and a bent leg. Just great, she huffs. Well, if you think you can do a better job, then you fix it. If you didn't break it in the first place, Magnus, I wouldn't have to fix it. Our hands are on our hips as we glare at each other, grizzling in silence. Unbelievable, she says and kneels by the other leg and unscrews the good leg with the screwdriver, as I should have done. As she unscrews the last nail, the metal leg falls towards her. I grab it just before it hits her head. She looks up in shock, but I'm not sure if it's because she was about to be hit across the head or if it's because I caught the leg before it knocked her out. I take the leg over to the new tabletop and hold it in place. She is still silent. Her mind plays over what just happened. Well, are you going to come to screw this in while I hold it or not? I growl. She shakes her head at her thoughts and kneels right beside me. Our legs touch, and I want to smile, but I don't. Her dainty hands twirl the screwdriver in circles until the 4 screws are in. I lean across her lap to grab the bent leg. Our faces so close for a moment that I smell her sweet breath, reminding me of candy. Her lips have a clear coat of lip gloss, I guess the strawberry flavor. I try to bend the leg back in place, but I seem to make it worse. Nina lets out a giggle, then quickly places her hand over her mouth to hide her smile. Something flutters inside my stomach at the thought that I just made her laugh like that. It's a pleasant feeling, unlike the one I have had for years that carries a sense of doom. She finishes screwing the bent leg in, and we stand back to look at the table that is on a slant. I place a book on it, and we watch as it slides off and burst into laughter. "What do you think Mr. Thompson's is going to say?" Nina sniggers. Who cares? It was fun making it, but then again, I don't want another detention," I say, picking up the fallen book and placing it under the foot of the bent leg. The table is now leveled out. We burst into laughter again, and the fluttering I feel inside grows. Mr. Thompson walks into the classroom. "I hope the table is finished," he trails off, looking at the bent leg propped up on a book. Magnus and Nina, detention again next Wednesday. But we both try to argue with him. "I told you both to fix it, not mangle it more. Now go home before I decide to call your parents," he yells. Nina and I both gulp and run out the door together. Seeing as we both live at the pack house, we both walk towards home together in silence, but it was a nice silence, though. Walking along the grass, she sees a baby bird chirping near a tree and rushes over to it. I follow her and watch as she scoops it up. "The poor thing has fallen from its nest," she says as she stares up at the extremely tall tree. "I'm going to put it back in its nest." "You can't climb up there, Nina. This tree is even taller than what I would even climb," the bird chirps in her hands. It's quite cute to look at. I gently scratch its little head to reassure it. It relaxes and snuggles further into Nina's hand. I can feel our bodies radiating warmth and realize how close I'm standing to Nina. I take a step back, giving her space. "Well, I can't leave it here, Magnus. I'm going up there with or without your permission," she says and grabs onto the first branch. "Fine, but I'm coming with you, only because if something happens to you, I will get the blame for it." Nina laughs. "You won't get the blame for my actions, Magnus," she says now on the third branch. I climb below her in case she accidentally falls. I don't want her to get hurt. Yeah, I will. I always get blamed for anything you pull." Her laugh echoed through the trees as she grabs the 10th branch. It was like beautiful music to my ears. "Don't be so absurd, Magnus. You think too highly of yourself. I get into plenty of trouble myself each day, although once upon a time we used to get into trouble together and we had so much fun doing so." I laugh. Fun? Anything we did as a child was far from fun, from what I remember. "Well, you remember wrong," she says. I look down at the ground. We must be at least 40 branches high. "Enlighten me then." "Okay, remember the time the laundry overflowed with bubbles and we would play hide and seek to find each other?" "Yeah. Well, Magnus, that was your idea to fill the washing machine up with bubble bath and turn it on, and if you remember, I took the blame for it." I forgot she had taken the blame for it. She had to mop it all up and went to bed without supper. I snuck into her room and gave her a sandwich that night. And then there was the night we wanted to watch the moon from the roof. We went climbing through May's bedroom window, but when you tried to open it, it wouldn't budge. You used such force that the whole window fell out and crashed onto the pavers outside. You went and hid in May's wardrobe, and I took the blame. She is right. I remember now. My parents would have been so mad at me for wanting to climb onto the roof in the first place, let alone breaking a window in the process of it all. I had run straight to the wardrobe and hid inside and watched through the crack as May decided not to hide and took the blame instead. "Well, I got in so much trouble because I wanted to protect you. You were my best friend. I thought it would be fun to play a couple of pranks on you in return for a bit of fun, and so we would be even. I heard the warriors say the next morning they will need to release some water from the dam. You were refusing to have your bath the day before anyway, so I thought it would be funny to have you stand in the creek while the water washed over you. I knew you were twice the size of most kids, so the water would only reach your waist. But you acted so dramatically that day, as if you were going to drown, when you could have just stood up and watched it flow past you, and you never spoke to me again until... Now, she says, giving me a sad look for a moment before looking away. And then it happened. It all hits me at once, that dreaded feeling but tenfold. That feeling when a hole in the ground opens up and just swallows you whole. Guilt. What have I done? She didn't make the pack think I was a joke. It wasn't her responsible for all the pranks, it was me all along. There's the nest, she says, not realizing the bombshell she just dropped on my head. Nina hovers over the nest. I climb next to her as fast as I can. She stretches her hands out to put the baby bird back in its nest. Careful, I say, cupping my hands under hers. She looks up at me for a moment and we lower our hands, gently placing the bird gently back in its nest. There you go, little guy, I say, and give it another gentle pat on the head. The sun is setting and the moon is rising. It's a breathtaking sight. We sit next to each other and watch the beauty of it in silence, the comfortable silence. We lean back on our hands and our pinkies touch, but neither of us moves our hand away. I want to apologize to her. I want to get on my knees and beg for forgiveness, just as Josie suggested. Josie was right. I had been a complete dumbass. We should get back to the pack house. We are going to get into trouble for being late home, she says. Nodding, I climb down first. A third of the way, Nina slips and falls. My hand wraps around her waist as she screams past me, and I pull her into the safety of my chest. Her arms cling back around my waist as she shakes from the fright of falling. She looks up at me, and I gaze into her eyes. Slowly, our lips draw closer to each other like a moth to a flame. As they are about to touch, the branch cracks from the weight of both of us and breaks. I wrap my arms around her and land on my back, taking the brunt of the fall. Magnus, are you okay? A few sharp pains bolt through my body as I sit up. I scrunch my face. I'll be fine, I say, clearly in pain. No, you're not fine. Here, let me help you, she says and puts my arm over her shoulder. You should not have done that. Done what? Take the brunt of the fall so I didn't get hurt. It was nothing. Sure. We make it back to the pack house grounds. Leon and 2 of his warriors run towards us. What happened, Magnus? Are you okay? He says, taking over from Nina, helping to carry my weight. I'll be fine. I just fell is all. Nina gives me a confused look, but says nothing. Well, we have all been worried sick about you 2. Sorry, Dad. It's okay, sweetie. I'm glad you helped Magnus home. Go to the dinner table. We will be there in a minute. I'd rather just rest my back in my room rather than sit at the dinner table, Leon. Of course. At least in a couple of months, when you get your wolf on your 18th, you will heal quickly. That's true, I smile, excited at the thought I will soon have my first shift and get to meet my wolf. I'm extra excited because I have alpha blood. My wolf will be pure black like my dad's. My mother is a descendant of the moon goddess, so she has a pure white wolf. But until then, you will heal at a normal human rate. Yeah, I know. Can you have the cook bring my dinner up for me, please, Leon? Of course. 40 minutes later, there's a knock at my door. Come in. It's Nina holding a plate of food. I, wanted to come to check on you and thought I'd bring your dinner. Thanks, I say, taking the plate and cutlery. I also wanted to say thanks for, catching me from the fall. She stands in silence, waiting for my response. I want to apologize to her, but the only word that comes out is, anytime. She frowns. Well, I guess I'll leave you to it then, she says and walks out the door. I'm such an idiot, anytime. That's all I could say to her. I munch my meal down while I mentally scold myself. Maybe at school tomorrow I can make things right. There is another knock at my door. Nina? I say, no, it's me, Josie. She walks in and sits in the chair beside my bed. I heard you fell over and hurt yourself, but I didn't believe Leon when he said that. My big brother and future alpha hurt from just a minor fall? No way, so I'm here to ask what really happened. Josie, you were right. About Nina. I've been such a jerk and don't even know how to make it up to her. She will never forgive me. OMG, Magnus. Are you okay? You must have hit your head. It's a concussion, right? Maybe a fever? She says, placing her hand on my forehead. I whack it away. No, Josie, I'm not sick and I don't have a concussion. After detention with Josie, we spent some time together. We climbed a tree, we talked, and I realized I made a mistake cutting her off 7 years ago. She slipped, and I caught her. Then my branch broke. I purposely took the brunt of the fall so she didn't get hurt. Josie blinks rapidly, processing what I just told her. She grabs my shoulders and shakes me. "Tell her you're sorry," she says right in my face. I know, Josie. I tried too, but I struggled to say what I wanted to say to her. I'm going to make it up to her at school tomorrow. Well, I should hope so, Magnus. It's the least you can do. I know I owe it to her. Do you think she will forgive me? As long as you don't stuff it up with her again, then I don't see why not. Thank Josie, I smile. Oh, Flint and I never mentioned you and Nina had detention either, she says, pretending to zip her mouth. Thanks, I appreciate it. Well, I hope you will be well enough to go to school tomorrow so you can make things right again with Nina, she smiles. Me too. See you in the morning. I smile and watch as she leaves the room. Okay, so my checklist for tomorrow: beg Nina for forgiveness and restore our friendship. Too easy. Trying to fall asleep, I tossed and turned all night and had a bad feeling about school tomorrow. Sitting up, I look at myself in the mirror. My hair is a scruffy mess from all the tossing and turning, and can see slight bags under my eyes. My back feels okay, just a little tender, but nothing that can stop me from going to school. I shower and dress in jeans and a black tight-fitting shirt that shows off my muscular physique with my favorite pair of black sneakers. As I comb my hair back, it flings back into the scruffy style, giving me the ruggedly handsome look instead of the sleek, handsome look I usually go for. I take my seat at the table for breakfast. Magnus, darling, how is your back, dear? Mother asks. It's fine. It wasn't anything major to begin with. I'm glad to hear, she smiles. I look up to see Nina down the other end of the table talking to her parents while she eats her breakfast. Josie is constantly looking between Nina and me. It's time to go to school. Nina grabs her bag and races ahead of us. I want to catch up to her, but she is faster than me. We have an assembly this morning and make our way to the hall. I sit as close as I can to Nina. There are 5 students between us. Claire calls out to me and races over and sits next to me. Boo-boo, I've been looking for you all morning, she says and clings onto my arm and leans on me as the assembly starts. I can't shake her off and cause a scene, so I just sit there quietly. Principal Conrad stands at the podium. Good morning, students. I would first like to remind you all that your rubbish goes in the bin and not on the ground. You should all know better by now. Today, I would also like to welcome a new student joining our school today. I'm sure you will all make Moss feel very welcome. The school claps as Moss makes his way to the podium. He is almost as handsome as I am, also with brown hair, but unlike my blue eyes, he has brown. You can tell he trains regularly, although he isn't as big as I am, he isn't far off it. I can't help but glare at him and decide I already dislike him. Thank you, Principal Conrad. I look forward to meeting you all and feel very welcomed already. He smiles. Everyone claps except me. I watch as he walks away from the podium with his smug face. After 10 more minutes of Principal Conrad talking, assembly ends. Nina stares for a moment at Claire, still clinging onto my arm as we leave the hall. We have the first class together, boo-boo. Let's go, she smiles. Great, I say, lacking any enthusiasm. Nina sits in her usual spot and avoids any eye contact, completely ignoring Claire and me. Then things become even worse. Moss walks in with a big grin showing off his sparkly white, perfect teeth. I almost want to throw up looking at him. His smile pissed me off, and I secretly hoped I could one day knock that smug smile from his face with maybe a couple of teeth out along with it. He stares around the room at the vacant seats, and his face lights up even more like a sparkler on a birthday cake when he sees Nina sitting in the far corner with no one near her. He takes the seat right next to her and puts his hand out to shake hers. Hey, I'm Moss. What's a pretty girl like yourself doing alone in the corner here? Nina blushes and shakes his hand. Oh, I'm Nina. I prefer to sit alone, she says. Oh, would you like me to move? I didn't mean to intrude in your space, he says sincerely. Actually, some company might be nice for a change and you're new here anyway, so please make yourself comfortable, she smiles. They chatted quietly and giggled together throughout class. The bell finally goes and I'm happy they will part ways. What subject do you have next? She asks him. Visual art. Me too, she says with happiness. Let's go together then. She smiles. My heart sinks along with my gut. I've got English, so I'm stuck with Claire again, but at least Zach and Flint are in English with me. I try to think of who I know who has visual art. I'll meet you in English, Claire. I just got to stop by the men's room. Okay, boo-boo, don't take too long now, she says, giving me a wink and blowing me a kiss. I try to hold the shudder as my body is screaming to release it. I rush down the corridor and find Paul just before he enters visual art class. Hey, Paul. Yo, what's up, Magnus? Not much, I just have a favor to ask. Oh, okay. The new guy, I don't know what it is about him, but I can just sense something isn't right. Can you monitor Nina? I'm just wanting to monitor her welfare around him. Being the future alpha and all, it's going to be my duty to keep my pack safe, so why not now? Sure, Magnus, I'll monitor both of them for you. Great, and Paul, don't mention this to anyone. Okay, it's just between you and me. Got it? Got it? He nods. I run back to English and sit in my seat between Claire and Zach with Flint beside Zach. We have to write an essay. I struggle to concentrate instead. I think of Moss and Nina. Everything okay? Boo-boo? Claire asks. Zach and Flint snigger at her nickname she gave me. I elbow Zach hard enough, he flies into Flint. It shuts them up from laughing at me. Yup, fine, just struggling to concentrate is all. Oh, my boo-boo, do you have a headache? I can finish the essay for you. Yeah, it's a headache, sure, I say, sliding my essay to her. I put my hand up. Yes, Magnus? I need to go to the men's room. Okay, but be quick. Okay, Mrs. Lofts. Oh, boo-boo, you had just been to the men's room. Is it the runs? She asks in front of the entire class. I welcomed the hole that opened up and swallowed me whole yesterday to reappear and swallow me again. No, I don't have the runs. Just be quiet, Claire. I growl and storm out of the room, heading straight to visual arts class. I duck down outside the window and peek in. Moss is leaning over Nina, helping her with her work. He sits back next to her and pushes her hair behind her ear. I let out a very loud growl, and everyone turns their attention to the growling window. I duck down just in time and crawl away furiously. Claire smiles when she sees me return to class, but she then frowns when she sees the anger across my face. What's wrong, boo-boo? Nothing, I growl. Well, if it's nothing, why do you sound so grumpy and angry then? I'm not grumpy or angry. I take a subtle deep breath to calm myself down and think of Nina's brown doe-like eyes. I just didn't sleep well last night, but now I know why. It's lunchtime. I race to the cafeteria to ask Nina to sit with us for lunch, losing Claire along the way. Barging into the cafeteria, all eyes are on me from my loud, eager entrance. My eyes dart to the corner to see Moss sitting at Nina's table having a good laugh. I barge back out of the cafeteria, passing Claire, Josie, Zach, Flint, and Paul. Where are you going, boo-boo? Anywhere but here, I growl. What's his problem? Flint asks. They enter the cafeteria, and Josie can see why Magnus is upset. The new and hot, attractive guy is hanging out with Nina and clearly flirting with her. She frowns at the thought of it all, feeling sorry for Magnus. Not wanting to be in the cafeteria, I decided to hang out in the library for the first time in my life. I sit myself down at a table with the school nerds. They all gasp and stare at me while I bang my head on the table. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I'm so stupid, I say. Why you're putting a dint in the tea table? I hear from a clearly nervous, squeaky voice. I look at her as she pushes her oversized glasses up closer to her eyes. Pipe down, Pipsqueak. Can't you see I'm in the middle of a crisis? Oh, sorry. Maybe talk about your pee problems and maybe we can help you with some advice? Giving her a strange look, I frown. Advice from a bunch of nerds. Are you crazy? If I was crazy, I would have to have some kind of psychological disorder, such as Munchausen, or not be in touch with reality, or... Okay, I get it. Since I do not know what to do now other than bash my head against a table, I will tell you what my problem is, but none of you are to breathe a word of this to anyone. Oh, okay. So, I had a best friend as a child. I couldn't even ask the moon goddess for a better friend. One day, 7 years ago, I cut her off because I thought she was making my pack not take me seriously and worry about me for when I become alpha. So yesterday, I have realized that I'm an idiot and that it was myself making me look like a court jester. I decided last night that I would beg Nina for forgiveness and repair our friendship today at school. But the school brought in a new student this morning, who you all saw, Moss. He has been glued to Nina's hip and flirting with her all damn day. So that's my problem. Okay, I see. Doesn't she live at the pack house with you? You could always apologize at home? Yeah, but this morning I felt like she was purposely not wanting to talk to me. She spoke to her parents far more than usual and didn't even glance my way. Okay, is there a subject you have with her? Yes, science and Mr. Thompson made us lab partners. Perfect. That's when you can apologize, she smiles. Thanks, I have science with her tomorrow, I say, standing up to leave. What was your name anyway? I ask her. Pippa. Thanks, Pipsqueak. See you around. I wave goodbye. The lunch bell goes and I complete my last 2 classes, happy to be going home. Oh, Boo-Boo, I'm so excited to be coming over to your house, Claire says, taking my arm in hers. What are you talking about, Claire? Boo-Boo, don't tell me you forgot already. I'm coming over to help pick you out something to wear for the party on the weekend, remember? My stomach churned. I had completely forgotten that she was my date for the party and she was coming over. I'm lost in thought, trying to think of a way out of it, but can't think of a decent excuse. Come on then, she says, pulling me along to catch up with Flint and Josie. Hey, Claire, aren't you going home? Josie asks. No, Magnus invited me over. I'm going to help him pick out something to wear to my party. I am his date, after all, she says. Josie goes to glare at me, but quickly smiles when Claire looks at her again. You are coming to the party too, are you not? She asks. I guess I'll be there. Great, she says, giving Josie a squeeze. Nina walks behind us home. Every time I turn to see if she is still behind us, she is staring down at the ground. I can't see her face, her emotion. She completely ignores me, and I don't like it. We arrive at the pack house and are greeted by my parents. They look down at Claire's hand holding mine and frown. And who is this lady? Mum asks. Oh, this is Claire, a friend from school. Oh, don't be so shy around your parents, Magnus. I'm his date for the party this weekend, she beams. How lovely, my mother says, forcing a smile. Well, you must come in then, she says and gestures for us to enter. Claire and I go straight upstairs to my room. Wow, this room is so large and you even have your own bathroom. Please don't tell me that is a walk-in wardrobe over there, she asks. She is so excited I'm waiting for her head to pop and blow streamers out everywhere like a party popper. Yeah, it's no big deal. No big deal? This is an enormous deal, Magnus, she says, entering the wardrobe. Instead of following her, I make myself comfortable and lay on my bed in hopes she will get bored and go home. Instead, she comes out with a pair of black jeans, a belt with a silver wolf's head as the buckle, and 5 colored shirts. You must try this one on first, Boo-Boo, she smiles and hands me a silver gray shirt. Can't you just pick one? Then I don't have to try it on? This will be more fun, Magnus. Rolling my eyes, I sit up on the bed and remove my shirt. Magnus, my, you're so much more masculine than I even imagined. You've imagined me shirtless? I ask, feeling awkward. Claire crawls up the bed towards me and sits on my lap, pinning me down. Oh, Boo-Boo, I've imagined you with far less on, she says, and smashes her lips to mine just as Josie enters with Nina. Magnus, Josie yells. In the utter shock and disgust of Claire kissing me, I push her away at the same time I hear Josie angrily yell my name. Nina and I make eye contact and I can see the hurt in her eyes. She runs off down the corridor without saying a word. What the hell, Magnus? Josie says. Oh, sorry about that, Josie, Claire says with a giggle. I get how gross it can look when your brother is making out with his girlfriend. Next time we will try to be more discreet. Discreet? Are you serious? Josie yells, then lets out a frustrated grrr and slams my door shut, leaving Claire and me alone. What the hell, Claire? What's wrong, Boo-Boo? She says and tries to cut my face. I lean back, avoiding her touch. You can't just kiss me like that. Why not? Because you just can't. Oh, I see. Too soon? Yes, too soon, Claire. We haven't even been on a date yet. I'm sorry, Boo-Boo. I'll hold off until then. I'd appreciate that. Now, are you going to try this shirt on? I take the shirt and put it on. Oh, very smooth. Now try this one on. This one is fine, Claire. There, we have an outfit picked. It's time I take you home. So soon? Yeah, I forgot I have an assignment to do. Oh, okay then. On my way out of the pack house, I run into Seth. Hey, Magnus, where are you off to? Taking Claire home. She lives near the school. I'm about to drive past the school. I can drop her home if you like. Oh, could you? I say, a little too excited to Claire's dismay. Sure, great. I take Claire's hand and help her in the car and shut the door before she can give me a kiss on the cheek. Goodbye. I had never been so happy to see the back of Seth's car driving away into the distance. Now to go find Nina. I run back inside, and halfway up the staircase, I'm stopped by Josie storming angrily towards me. What is wrong with you? You said you wanted to make things right with Nina. Minutes later, you are making out with Claire. Look, it wasn't what it looked like. I swear. Josie laughs. Are you serious? It wasn't what it looked like? Yes, Claire gave me shirts to try on for the stupid party. As soon as I took my shirt off, she climbed onto me and kissed me as you both walked in. I swear I didn't know she was going to do that. She caught me off guard. Josie takes a moment, calming herself down. You need to fix this, Magnus. You need to make things right with Nina, and after what just conspired between you and Claire, well, let's just say it's going to take more than groveling and apologies to fix this. I know, Josie, I'm going to see Nina now, I say and walk around her, continuing up the stairs. Nina? I say gently, knocking on her door. Nina? The door opens abruptly. Nina holds the door open with one hand and her other hand is on her hip. Her face shows no emotion. What do you want, Magnus? She says, sending a hot shiver down my spine, saying my name. I wanted to come to apologize to you. For what exactly? For what you just saw between Claire and me. Why are you apologizing for something that's not my business? I'm stunned by what Nina is saying. She left and ran down the corridor. I thought it upset her seeing me with Claire. You ran off upset when you saw us, I thought. You thought wrong. Why would I be upset? We have meant nothing to each other for 7 years, so why would I care now? Her words hit me like a knife in my heart. Her words were brutal, but I could see where she was coming from. What you do isn't my business and hasn't been for 7 years now, so why would I care whose mouth you stick your tongue down? Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to bed. Good night, Magnus, and slams her door in my face. Leaning our backs against either side of the door, we both slide down and stare at our feet with sadness, although she won't admit it. I know I hurt her again. She will be in the science class tomorrow. That will be my opportunity to speak to her. I return to my room and step into the shower and bang my head against the wall in frustration. Once I've finished sulking in the shower, I climb into bed for another restless night of little sleep. The morning arrives, and I sit at the table for breakfast to find Nina completely ignoring me again. She runs to school ahead of us again. On arrival at the school, I walk to my locker with Josie and Flint on either side of me. I look over to Nina's locker. Moss has an arm above Nina, leaning into the locker. She blushes and giggles as he whispers in her ear. Josie and Flint observe them as well, then give each other a worried look. Let's get to class, Flint says. What do we have first? Physical ed. Let's go get our training gear on. PE is just what I needed to help me burn some of this frustration out. We go to the change room and change into shorts and tank shirts and walk to the oval where Mr. Tilly waits to train. While we wait for the rest of the class, I begin some stretches with Flint and a few other guys. You gotta be kidding me? Flint says, looking over my shoulder. I look to see what his problem is, only to repeat Flint's words. You've gotta be kidding me? Hey guys, Moss smiles and waves and stretches with us. What are you doing here? I snap. I have PE, he smiles. I'm Moss, he says, putting his hand out to shake mine. Instead, I stop stretching, cross my arms, and glare at him. Okay, fellas, let's begin with a few laps around the oval, and you start now, Mr. Tilly says and blows his whistle. I jog past Moss, knocking into his shoulder, and he immediately gets that I don't like him. He races to catch up to me and keeps up with me, jogging by my side with a smug grin that just seems to never stop growing. If that smug smile gets any bigger, he'd be the Joker's doppelganger. Flint and I increase our speed to lose him, but he continues to keep up with us. He whacks his shoulder, nudging me with force. I do the same back. Then the next thing you know, we are both on the ground tackling each other. He punches me in the jaw. I punch him in the left eye. He punches me in the right eye. I punch his cheekbone. Mr. Tilly runs toward us, blowing his whistle. Stop! Stop right now! Break it up! He continues to yell at us, but neither of us listens to him. I grab Moss's arm and turn him onto his stomach and wrap my other arm around his neck and keep him in a lock hold, cutting off his airway. He is about to pass out before he uses his free arm to grab my precious jewels and twist them. "Arr!" I yell and sit back, releasing him whilst I cling onto my goods. He turns around and we glare at each other, panting. We both have black eyes, bloody noses, and bruises in different areas of our faces. "Magnus, what has gotten into you? And Moss, you are new here. You should know better getting into fights. Now both of you go see the school nurse and report to the principal's office." "Yes, Mr. Tilly," Moss and me grizzle. "What the hell, Claire? What's wrong, boo-boo?" she says and tries to cut my face. I lean back, avoiding her touch. "You can't just kiss me like that." "Why not? Because you just can't." "Oh, I see, too soon?" "Yes, too soon, Claire. We haven't even been on a date yet." "I'm sorry, boo-boo. I'll hold off until then. I'd appreciate that. Now, are you going to try this shirt on?" I take the shirt and put it on. "Oh, very smooth. Now try this one on." "This one is fine, Claire. There, we have an outfit picked. It's time I take you home." "So soon?" "Yeah, I forgot I have an assignment to do." "Oh, okay then." On my way out of the pack house, I run into Seth. "Hey, Magnus, where are you off to?" "Taking Claire home. She lives near the school." "I'm about to drive past the school. I can drop her home if you like." "Oh, could you?" I say, a little too excited to Claire's dismay. "Sure, great." I take Claire's hand and help her in the car and shut the door before she can give me a kiss on the cheek. Goodbye. I had never been so happy to see the back of Seth's car driving away into the distance. Now to go find Nina. I run back inside, and halfway up the staircase, I'm stopped by Josie storming angrily towards me. "What is wrong with you? You said you wanted to make things right with Nina. Minutes later, you are making out with Claire." "Look, it wasn't what it looked like, I swear." Josie laughs. "Are you serious? It wasn't what it looked like?" "Yes, Claire gave me shirts to try on for the stupid party. As soon as I took my shirt off, she climbed onto me and kissed me as you both walked in. I swear I didn't know she was going to do that. She caught me off guard." Josie takes a moment, calming herself down. "You need to fix this, Magnus. You need to make things right with Nina, and after what just conspired between you and Claire. Well, let's just say it's going to take more than groveling and apologies to fix this." "I know, Josie. I'm going to see Nina now," I say and walk around her, continuing up the stairs. "Nina?" I say gently, knocking on her door. "Nina?" The door opens abruptly. Nina holds the door open with one hand, and her other hand is on her hip. Her face shows no emotion. "What do you want, Magnus?" she says, sending a hot shiver down my spine, saying my name. "I wanted to come to apologize to you?" "For what exactly?" "For what you just saw between Claire and me." "Why are you apologizing for something that's not my business?" I'm stunned by what Nina is saying. She left and ran down the corridor. I thought it upset her seeing me with Claire? "You ran off upset when you saw us, I thought?" "You thought wrong. Why would I be upset? We have meant nothing to each other for 7 years, so why would I care now?" Her words hit me like a knife in my heart. Her words were brutal, but I could see where she was coming from. What you do isn't my business and hasn't been for 7 years now, so why would I care whose mouth you stick your tongue down? Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to bed. Good night, Magnus, and slams her door in my face. Leaning our backs against either side of the door, we both slide down and stare at our feet with sadness, although she won't admit it. I know I hurt her again. She will be in the science class tomorrow. That will be my opportunity to speak to her. I return to my room and step into the shower and bang my head against the wall in frustration. Once I've finished sulking in the shower, I climb into bed for another restless night of little sleep. The morning arrives, and I sit at the table for breakfast to find Nina completely ignoring me again. She runs to school ahead of us again. On arrival at the school, I walk to my locker with Josie and Flint on either side of me. I look over at Nina's locker. Moss has an arm above Nina, leaning into the locker. She blushes and giggles as he whispers in her ear. Josie and Flint observe them as well, then give each other a worried look. "Let's get to class," Flint says. "What do we have first?" "Physical ed. Let's go get our training gear on." PE is just what I needed to help me burn some of this frustration out. We go to the change room and change into shorts and tank shirts and walk to the oval where Mr. Tilly waits to train. While we wait for the rest of the class, I begin some stretches with Flint and a few other guys. "You gotta be kidding me," Flint says, looking over my shoulder. I look to see what his problem is, only to repeat Flint's words. "You've gotta be kidding me." "Hey guys," Moss smiles and waves and stretches with us. "What are you doing here?" I snap. "I have PE," he smiles. "I'm Moss," he says, putting his hand out to shake mine. Instead, I stop stretching, cross my arms, and glare at him. "Okay, fellas, let's begin with a few laps around the oval, and you start now," Mr. Tilly says and blows his whistle. I jog past Moss, knocking into his shoulder, and he immediately gets that I don't like him. He races to catch up to me and keeps up with me, jogging by my side with a smug grin that just seems to never stop growing. If that smug smile gets any bigger, he'd be the Joker's doppelganger. Flint and I increase our speed to lose him, but he continues to keep up with us. He whacks his shoulder, nudging me with force. I do the same back. Then the next thing you know, we are both on the ground tackling each other. He punches me in the jaw. I punch him in the left eye. He punches me in the right eye. I punch his cheekbone. Mr. Tilly runs toward us, blowing his whistle. "Stop! Stop right now! Break it up!" He continues to yell at us, but neither of us listens to him. I grab Moss's arm and turn him onto his stomach and wrap my other arm around his neck and keep him in a lock hold, cutting off his airway. He is about to pass out before he uses his free arm to grab my precious jewels and twist them. "Argh!" I yell and sit back, releasing him whilst I cling on to my goods. He turns around and we glare at each other, panting. We both have black eyes, bloody noses, and bruises in different areas of our faces. "Magnus, what has gotten into you? And Moss, you are new here, you should know better getting into fights. Now both of you go see the school nurse and report to the principal's office." "Yes, Mr. Tilly," Moss and me grizzle. Mr. Tilly sends Flint with us to make sure Moss and I didn't get into another fight along the way. We walk through the corridors and it horrifies students at the sight of us as we walk past the windows. Nina sees from her class and races out with a gasp. I smile and feel warm as she races out to check on me. My mouth drops open when she races up to Moss and wraps her dainty little arms around him. I can hear my growl across half the school grounds. Nina steps back from Moss. "What happened to you?" she asks, staring at me for a moment, then back to Moss. "I was in PE training, and that guy was being unfriendly and tried to knock me over when we were told to run laps. We ended up in a fight. I've never met the guy before, so I don't know what his problem is," he says with a glare towards me. Nina marches up towards me in anger. "How dare you? How dare you get into a fight with Moss like that, just because he is my friend and treats me with kindness, unlike someone else? I know Magnus does not give you the right to destroy another friendship." She storms back to Moss. She takes a handkerchief from her pocket and gently dabs the blood away from his face. He cups his hand over hers and gives her a sweet, brief peck on the tip of her nose. "Thank you, Nina," he says, smiling down at her. My blood is boiling. I feel so angry that I could spontaneously combust and take half the school buildings with me. Flint places his hand on my shoulder. "Best to just go see the nurse. Standing here watching is only going to make matters worse." I march past them in anger and stomp into the nurse's station. "Magnus, what on earth happened to you?" Nurse Carla asks. "Got into a fight." "Well, clearly. Who with?" "The new guy, Moss. Where is he? Did he sustain any injuries?" "Probably a few extra bruises than I, but he's already being attended to." "Take a seat." I take the seat while Nurse Carla cleans my face up as best as she could. "Do you want me to call your parents to come to pick you up from school?" "No, I'll stay. I'd prefer you go home and put ice on your face, Magnus. Look, I'm staying, okay? If it makes you feel better, then I'll rest here for the next period until recess." "Okay, well, I'll go get you an ice pack then." She returns a moment later and hands me the ice pack. I hold it against my swollen black eye for the next hour. The recess bell goes. I toss the ice pack onto Nurse Carla's table and walk to the cafeteria. Students stare and whisper as I walk past. I heard he knocked Moss out and almost killed him. Well, I heard he picked Moss up with one hand and threw him halfway across the oval. Well, at least the whispers and rumors were to my liking. Entering the cafeteria, Claire lets out a gasp and races towards me. She cups my face. Boo-boo. I heard there were rumors a fight broke out. I did not know it involved you. Oh, my poor snookums, she says, embracing me. I notice Nina and Moss watching Claire smother me with concern and worry. My face lowered closer to hers, and I pecked her on the lips without even thinking about my action. Nina looks away, but Moss's steely glare intensifies. Oh, boo-boo, Claire blushes. I place my arm over her shoulder and pull her as close as I can to my side. Josie brings a tray of lunch over for me. I heard you got into a fight with Moss. You know Mum and Dad are going to flip beans when they see your face, right? Yeah, I know, but that's the least of my problems, I say, taking a glance at Nina. My fist slams down onto the table as I see Nina and Moss kissing. Everyone at the table jumps. Boo-boo, what's wrong? Josie gives me a sympathetic, knowing look. They forgot to put the cheese in my roll. I lie. Oh, here, have mine then, she offers and swaps them over. She's been so infatuated with me, she even ordered the same lunch as me. May joins us and angrily plonks her tray of food down in front of us and bites into her ham roll as if she was biting the head off a small critter. She glares at Claire and chews loudly. Gee, everyone is such a grump today, Paul says with a nervous laugh. We sit there in silence for the rest of lunch. The bell goes, and I realize I have science with Nina now. Moss walks her to science and gives her a long kiss that involved eating her face. He smiles at me and leaves to go to his next class. Nina places her books on the mangled table we had made together. I take my seat next to her, but we both sit silently, refusing to speak to each other. Okay, today you will fill out this questionnaire with your lab partner. If you don't know the answers, then it will tell you what page in your textbooks you can read to find the answer. You have 45 minutes, Mr. Thompson says. He places a questionnaire sheet on each table. 5 minutes go by and neither of us has moved. The questionnaire isn't going to fill itself out, Nina and Magnus. Get to work or I will fail you both in science. We both grumble and mutter under our breaths and take our pens to fill it out. We both go to take the sheet at the same time, but grab each other's hands instead. I don't want to let go, but Nina pulls her hand away in a flash. We both take the end of the paper. She glares at me. Let go, I'll fill it out. Let me at least fill a couple of questions out, I say. The sheet of paper tears in half, and Mr. Thompson walks over and slams the sticky tape down. Again, you broke it. You fix it, then fill it out, he growls. Without speaking, I hold the 2 strips of paper in place while Nina tapes them together. I'll fill out the first half, and you do the rest, she snaps. Fine, I say, and cross my arms. Once she has answered 8 questions, she angrily slides the sheet toward me. I pause and gaze at her. What happened to us, Nina? We were getting along so well the other day, and now we are worse than ever. The other day should never have happened. Besides, Moss asked me to be his girlfriend today, and I said yes. You only just met him. How could you go out with someone you don't know? What if he is some kind of axe-wielding maniac or has bad intentions of you? Why do you care, Magnus? You have never cared for me. I think it's obvious to both of us that you are jealous. Jealous? I laugh. Yes, you are jealous of Moss and feel threatened by him, otherwise you would not have taunted him into a fight. I highly doubt he is dangerous. If anything, he has been extremely sweet, loving, and caring towards me. You should be focusing on your girlfriend and go back to your old ways of pretending I don't exist. I don't want it to be like this. Magnus, you are the one who made it like this. Now you get to live with it. Sadness consumes me. I take the questionnaire and fill the rest out slowly and hold back my tears. Mr. Thompson collects our sheets as the bell rings. As I walk to English, I see Pipsqueak is cornered and Sean, the well-known school bully, is harassing her. He flicks her glasses off your face. Now empty your pockets, he growls in her face. Scared she does as she is told and empties her pockets of any coins. Swiftly I grab Sean's neck and hold him 2 feet off the floor against the wall. Got a problem with my friend here? I snarl in his face. Oh, sorry, I didn't know she was your friend, he says nervously. Whilst holding him up, I look at Pipsqueak shaking. How often has been taking your money? I ask her. Eat every day, she replies in her squeaky little voice. I turn my attention back to Sean. Empty your pockets, I tell him. What? You heard me. Empty your pockets or I'll make your face look as pretty as mine, I say. He looks over my bruised and banged-up face and quickly empties his pockets. Releasing my grip, he falls to the ground. If you ever go near Pipsqueak or any of her friends again, you will face my wrath. Sean scrambles to his feet and bolts down the corridor. The money is yours, take it, I say to Pipsqueak and continue to class. Wait, she says, running up to me. What? Thank you for stopping him, Magnus. No worries, Pipsqueak, I say, walking away. I notice Nina is standing with Josie waiting for their class door to be unlocked. They had both witnessed me protect one of the school nerds. It's Pippa, by the way. Her words cheerily echo down the corridor behind me. It's the end of the school day. Josie and Flint meet at my locker. Hey bro, ready to go home? Flint asks. I'd rather them not see my face, but I don't really have a choice. I suppose we better get home so I can face the music. Nina was home before us, and as expected, Mum and Dad were standing at the front door, looking as mad as the Hatter himself. Magnus, we received a phone call from the school today, stating you got into a fight with the new boy, and from looking at your face, I'd say they gave us accurate information. Mum says, unimpressed. Dad walks to me and places his hand on my shoulder. Son, what were you thinking? You are going to be alpha before you know it, and here you are beating up the new boy. You have some explaining to do. I may have accidentally nudged him at PE, and it turned into a fight. And why did you accidentally nudge him? Perfect timing. I look over his shoulder at Nina approaching. Dad raises his eyebrow at Nina, then back at me. I see, well, I hope we don't have a repeat of this terrible situation, but I'm glad you are okay, son. He pulls me in for a hug and whispers in my ear. Next time, knee him good and hard in the balls, son. That girl is worth fighting for. Shocked, I contain my tiny smirk and give Dad a small nod instead. I remain in my room until it's time to join the pack house for dinner. Leon, Seth, Mia, and Amelia cringe at my face. Mum, of course, sits on Dad's lap. Your father and I have been organizing your wolf ceremony. We have invited 5 different packs. She smiles. Why so many packs? Well, since you will be 18 and have your wolf, you will find your mate and become alpha. I figured just in case your mate isn't in this pack, we would help you find her quicker by having as many unmated she-wolves present for the ceremony. Mum, are you for real? Yes, I'm for real. I'm so excited for you. You know, when I met your father while working at the diner, I didn't even know wolves existed and didn't even know I was one. Your father entered the diner like he owned the place and kept talking about vanilla and cookies. Jim and I thought that was what he wanted to order, but it turned out it was my scent. It's funny now that I think about it. I fled from your father and tried to pull a runner when he said we were mates and had explained it to me. You really ran from Dad when you found out he was your mate? Yep. Mum laughs. You actually fled from me a few times, but before I knew it, she couldn't get enough of me. Dad laughs. Seth, Leon, and Amelia laugh. So true, Mia giggles. What if the she-wolf I want isn't my mate? What if I want to choose my mate instead? Mum drops her fork and the color from her face fades. Everyone has stopped laughing and stares at me instead. Mum seems to have come to her senses and stares at me. Magnus, it's frowned upon for good reasons choosing a mate instead of accepting the mate the goddess blessed you with. But nothing. Mum, she is right, son. Choosing a mate instead of accepting the one the goddess blessed you with can cause a lot of problems, not just for you, but your entire family. Dad frowns. What if I don't like my mate? Why don't you at least wait and find out who she is first? It would be easier to just choose. Mum abruptly stands from Dad's lap. It's too dangerous, Magnus. Just please wait and find out who she is first. I don't see what the big deal in choosing is. Mum slams her hand on the table. Magnus, choosing a mate is taking her away from her true mate. Is that fair to him or her? People die. People get hurt when you choose a mate. How do you think my mother died when I was a child and your grandfather and our entire pack of Mooncrest? Unless your mate has passed away and the she-wolf you like has also had her mate pass away, then it will not happen. Mum storms from the room, leaving me in shock. I did not know that. I didn't mean to upset Mum, I say to Dad. She will be okay. She has had a very rough past and just wants the best for you kids. Great, now you upset Mum too. Josie sighs and crosses her arms. Josie, I scowl. Who else have you upset today? Leon asks. The room goes silent. No one dares answer, not even Nina herself. I'm going to bed, I say, standing up. I walk up the stairs and crash land down onto my bed. The dreaded sun hits my face. I don't even remember falling asleep. I must have been exhausted. It's Saturday. I put my shorts and tank shirt on and spend the day at the Packhouse gym. I've got Claire's party tonight. Part of me wants to go, the other part doesn't, but everyone will expect me there. I shower and put the black jeans on with the silver gray shirt on and my belt with the silver wolf buckle. A lot of the swelling and bruising has gone down. There is a knock at the door. I open the door to see it's Mum. Mum, I've been meaning to talk to you. I did not know the effect choosing a mate could have. I'm so sorry, Mum, I never meant to hurt you. She welcomes the hug and embraces me back with a tight, loving squeeze. She is so tiny she can barely reach around me. I was coming to let you know Claire rang and is hoping you will arrive at her house soon to help her greet everyone. Yeah, I guess I can go now. Thanks, Mum. She smiles. You have a great night and no more fights, okay? I'll try my best to behave, Mum. Walking downstairs, my breath is taken away. Nina stands by the window near the front door, looking out. She has a red fitted dress that sits just above her knees with black little heels and a matching clutch purse. I want to tell her how beautiful she looks. I take a step towards her. Wow, Moss is a lucky man, Flint says as he and Josie approach Nina. Flint is wearing a white shirt tucked in suit pants and May is wearing a black dress with straps. Flint sees my steel gaze on him and laughs nervously. I'm assuming Moss will be here to pick you up any minute? Flint asks her. Yep, any minute. What? I say. Nina tilts her head to look at me. Moss is taking me out for dinner, then we are going to Claire's party afterward. She smiles. I want to punch the front door, but I know I will knock it off its hinges and Mum and Dad would be angry. Instead, I walk out the front door and do not say a word. Flint and Josie run outside after me. Aren't you going to get a lift from Seth with us? No thanks, I'll walk. The fresh air will do me good. I huff. I said no, now leave me alone. Come on, babe, just a little kiss is all I'm asking for. Sean says, let me go, you jerk. He is holding her arms against the wall of the house. She can't move. I walk up behind Sean and put him in a lockhold. I break his arm. Nina jumps at the sound of his arm snapping. If you ever touch her again, I will kill you, I say as my eyes turn completely black. There is a force inside me struggling to not kill him, to not rip his head off now. It's overwhelmingly powerful. I have felt nothing like it in my life. I'm fighting myself as I also fight Sean down as he tries to escape. He is screaming and holding his broken arm. I fling him into the swimming pool. It's that, or I snap his neck, and the last thing I need right now is to end up in wolf prison. I'm hunched over heaving. My muscles feel as if they are growing bigger. In fact, I feel I'm slowly growing bigger and stronger. I'm overwhelmed with anger and I'm struggling to control it. Everyone has run out of the house into the backyard to see why Sean is screaming. Everyone steps back slowly in fear as I fight myself. There is a voice in my head. Let me take over. Let me kill him, he snaps. I cling onto my head. No, stop. Leave. Go away. I fall onto my knees as I feel a bone in my back snap. He's shifting, someone yells. He isn't 18 yet? No one has shifted early before? Says another voice. Someone needs to go to the pack house and get the Alpha and Luna straight away, Paul yells. A few people run off together towards the pack house as I continue to fight my wolf. The pain I'm in is immense. I toss and turn on the ground. Another bone snaps. Shh, it's okay, Magnus, you're going to be okay, I hear from the sweetest voice I've ever heard. Nina is approaching very slowly with caution. My inner wolf relaxes for a brief moment from the sound of her voice. He tries to take over again. It's okay. Try to relax. Fighting your wolf will only make it more painful. How do you know that? I managed to say with a strained voice. My dad told me the pain is far worse at your first shift if you fight it. If I shift, my wolf might kill Sean. I won't let your wolf kill him. The jerk already peed his pants when he ran off screaming, holding his arm. I can't help but let out a small chuckle that Sean peed his pants. The pain subsides quite a bit, and I realize Nina has my head on my lap, stoking my arms that are growing fur. Completely relaxed, and a few more bones snap, and my face morphs into my wolf. My tongue sticks out, panting in happiness, as Nina strokes her fingers through my fur. Everyone watching gasps. "He is a pure white alpha. Alphas are meant to be black?" Zach says in amazement. I want to keep my eyes on Nina's face, but I look down at my paws to see white, fluffy fur. They're right, I am white. "Magnus, this is amazing," Nina says in awe. She studies my face closer and strokes her fingers down my back a few times. "Tell me I'm dreaming?" she asks, looking at everyone. Flint approaches and crouches down beside her. "You're not dreaming, Nina. This is incredible, though, and I've never seen a wolf this big. He is even bigger than Dad's wolf." "Thank you, Magnus, for saving me back there. I was looking for Moss. He had vanished. I came outside to see if he was out here, and instead found Sean who, well, you saw the rest," she says, trying not to sob. I take a step towards her and nudge her face, wiping the rogue tear away. She wraps her arms around me the best she could and cries. "What's going on out here?" Moss asks, approaching the crowd. Everyone parts, creating a path. He freezes over at the sight of not just me but Nina crying with her arms around me. I let out a deep, horrifying growl that makes everyone cower. Nina looks up and sees Moss. I take a few steps towards Moss, baring my teeth and growling. He takes a few steps back and I take a few more forward. "No, Magnus," Nina says and crouches in front of me. "You can't hurt him, Magnus." I give her a look as if to say, "Where was he when you needed him?" She hangs her head as if she had read my mind. "It doesn't matter now, Magnus. Regardless, Sean's actions are not Moss's fault." She was right. It wasn't his fault, but I couldn't help but feel he was up to no good anyway. My wolf tries to fight for full control to kill him. "Magnus!" My parents shout my name as they tie their robes on from shifting back into human form. As soon as they approach, Moss takes the opportunity to take Nina's arm and pull her back. I let out a growl. "Magnus, you've shifted," Dad says, "and he is pure white like my wolf." Mum says, stunned. "Have you ever seen a white male alpha before?" Dad asks Mum. "No, but like me, he is a direct descendant of the moon goddess. Perhaps my grandfather was a white wolf or a grandfather before him, or he could be the first pure white alpha wolf to exist. But either way, the moon goddess has bestowed this on him." Mum smiles. "You are so beautiful, my son," she says and hugs me. "Can you shift back?" Dad asks. I don't want to shift back just yet. I look towards the trees and let out the loudest howl the pack has ever heard. "A run it is then," my dad says. My parents shift into their wolves. My wolf is at least 6 inches taller than my dad's. Everyone watches as all 3 of us howl in unison and run towards the woods, just as Claire comes out from her house after probably changing into 50 different dresses to see what is going on. "Who's that wolf and where's my boo-boo gone to?" she asks, confused. Zach approaches her and places his hand on her shoulder. "You might want to sit down for this?" That Claire passes out to everyone's amusement after Zach caught her up to speed. The wind whips through my fur, my paws pound against the dirt, my massive tongue hangs out, collecting the odd flying bug. I feel so free, so wild and powerful. My parents are only meters behind me as we run with the wind. As we howl into the night sky, more wolves from our pack join us and howl in unison to celebrate the arrival of my wolf. Sitting on a mountaintop, one by one, they line up and bow, exposing their neck, showing full submission and loyalty. It's midnight. I run once more through the woods before returning home to the pack house with my parents, Seth, Leon, Mia, and Amelia. They all shift into their human forms and wait for me to shift. "Just relax, son. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in human form, and you will shift back. It won't hurt." Closing my eyes, I imagine myself in human form as I shift back. Pain sears throughout my body. My howl of pain turns into a human scream. My mother falls to her knees and tries to comfort me. I'm covered in sweat and in a lot of pain. "What is wrong with him, Ryker?" "I don't know. It's not meant to be painful. I've never seen a shift like this before. Something isn't right. Let's get him to his room and call the pack doctor." Seth, Leon, and my dad carry me to my room. "He's got a fever," Mum says, touching my forehead. Seth leaves to get the pack doctor while Mum stays by my side, wiping my face with a cold face washer. My whole body is shaking and I cannot speak. "Maybe it has something to do with shifting early?" Dad suggests. "Maybe." Mum frowns. The pack doctor arrives and takes my obs. He has a fever, but I'm struggling to see how it has anything to do with shifting. And you mentioned he was in immense pain when he shifted back? Yes, he was screaming in pain, Doctor, Dad says. I see. Well, I don't know what to say. I've never seen anything like this. I'll take some blood samples and see if I can find anything. For now, keep him cool until his fever breaks. Thank you, Doctor, Dad says and shows him out the door. The morning arrives. I'm still shaking. Mum had fallen asleep at some point. Her head rests on my bed. Someone knocks at my door, stirring her awake. I'll be right back, Magnus, she whispers. Opening my door, she greets May, Nina, Zach, and Flint. And Dad just told us at breakfast Magnus has a fever. Is he going to be okay? Josie asks. I'm sure once the fever breaks, he will be fine, Mum assures them. Can we see him? Nina asks. Yes, I'm sure Magnus would like to see you all. They all step inside my room and approach my bed. They can see I'm shivering and sweating. I'm mumbling, but it's incoherent for them. Shh, save your energy, just rest, the sweet voice says. I feel Nina take my hand and hold it between her two hands. She sits in the seat my mother spent the night in and holds my hand tighter. You go rest, Luna. I'll stay and watch over him for you. Thank you, Nina. My mother smiles. You get better soon, brother, Flint says. Yeah, we have school tomorrow and would rather you go with us, Josie says. They all leave the room except for Nina, who stays by my side holding my hand. The whole town has been talking about your early shift last night and that your wolf is pure white. Even some of our neighboring packs have already heard, and some of the alphas want to come to see you for themselves to see if it's true. She takes the face washer from my forehead and rinses it in cold water and wipes the sweat from my face. She walks over to the window and opens it wide, allowing the fresh breeze to whirl through my room. Nina continues to stay by my side for the next hour until my parents enter with the pack doctor. He still has the fever. There was nothing unusual about the blood results, which doesn't help explain why he shifted early and why he has a fever. There has to be more to it, like something we can't see. Like magic? Nina says, gaining everyone's attention. The doctor pauses in thought for a moment. Exactly like magic, he says. I don't understand, Mum says. I have a friend, a witch. With your permission, I'd like her to come here to meet and assess Magnus. She will see if any magic is involved. But I thought witches haven't existed in over 100 years, Dad says. There is a small coven of witches that still exists that no one knows about. They don't make themselves known to the public for fear of being hunted and killed. I see. Well, if you think it will help Magnus, then you have my approval, Dad says. The doctor nods and takes his leave. Nina sits back down in the chair and holds my hand until Claire comes running up the stairs. Boo-boo, she yells, barging into my room. I heard what happened last night. I was told you are with fever, she says and discreetly nudges Nina to move. Nina frowns and stands with my parents. Claire takes the seat and grabs my hand, squeezing it too tight for my liking. Claire, I'm sure Magnus appreciates you coming to see him, but he really needs his rest, my dear, Mum says. Oh, Luna, don't fret. I will take over and watch over him while you all rest. It's the least I can do since I am his girlfriend, she says while giving Nina a quick glare. You can stay with him for a couple of hours, Claire. Then I'll be back to watch over him, Mum says. Okay, Luna, I'll take good care of him. I'm sure you will, Mum frowns. They take their leave, leaving me alone with Claire. Oh, boo-boo, let me freshen that face washer up for you, she says, dipping into a bucket. She doesn't rinse the excess water and plops it onto my face. Water dribbles all over my face and pillow. I may as well be floating in the middle of the ocean at this rate. That breeze is messing my hair up, boo-boo. Give me a moment while I go shut the windows. I tried to tell her to leave the windows open, but no words left my lips. The room became stuffy within minutes, and my fever felt even worse. Oh, boo-boo, I'll hop in bed beside you. The last thing I needed was body warmth. I already felt sticky and slimy and overheated as it was. She lies beside me and starts sliding her fingers through my hair and tugs at it as she tries to soothe me. It is annoying me, and there is nothing I can do about it. After almost 2 hours of intensive care from Claire, my mother and Nina enter. Magnus, what has happened? You look even worse, she yells. Oh, I thought he was improving, Claire says. Nina, fetch the pack doctor for me, and show Claire out along the way, please. By boo-boo, I'll come to visit you after school tomorrow, she says, kissing my lips that I can't even move. They are dry and flaky from dehydration. Nina happily shows Claire out of the pack house and calls for the doctor. She returns to the room and opens the windows. She looks around the room and takes a spare pillow. "Luna, could you lift his head while I swap the pillows over, please?" Mum nods and lifts my head as they change the pillow over. The dry, fresh pillow feels much better, and the breeze from the window is refreshing. "He needs water," Nina says, and fills a glass of water from the bathroom sink. She sits beside me and lifts the glass to my lips. I take as many sips as I can. The doctor arrives with the witch. Nina stands up and moves away so the witch can assess me. "Are you able to tell us what is wrong with my son?" Mum asks. The witch doesn't approach me. Instead, the witch looks over at Nina. "He is reacting to a curse," she says. "What curse?" Mother says. The witch points a finger at Nina. "Her curse." "My curse," Nina says. "Yes, your curse," she replies. "Are you implying Nina has been playing with some kind of magic and cursed my son?" Mother asks. "No, but she has a curse shadowing her, and it's affecting Magnus." "I'm sorry, but you must be mistaken. I'm not cursed," Nina says. The witch looks Nina up and down. "Oh, you're cursed, sweetheart. I can see it lingering all around you. What kind of curse? How do I get rid of it?" "What kind of curse? For I do not know and how to break it. Only the one who cursed you knows how. Until then, you are stuck with it." "How do I find out who cursed me then?" "Only time will tell." She looks back over at Magnus and approaches. She hovers a hand over him and says an incantation. "The fever will break soon. In the meantime, until the curse breaks, I suggest you tell him to avoid shifting." "Why is that?" Mother asks. "It's going to hurt every time he shifts." The witch takes her leave without saying another word. "We need to have a pack meeting immediately," Mum says to Nina. Everyone leaves the room. My fever breaks. I'm able to walk to the bathroom and have a cool shower and feel so much better afterwards. I find my favorite black tight-fitting shirt and my dark-colored jeans and put them on. As soon as I'm dressed, I walk down the stairs to find a meeting is being held. "Magnus, you are looking better," Seth smiles. "Yeah, I feel heaps better. You better come join us, son," Dad says. Seth and Mia sit at the end of the table, while Nina sits with Leon and Amelia on the left side of the table. I take my seat next to my father. As we all know, someone has placed some kind of curse on Nina. Not only that, but it's also affecting Magnus, Dad says. "I don't understand who would want to curse my daughter," Amelia cries. Leon rubs her back. "We will sort this out, honey. We will find out who cursed her and have them break the spell." "Nina, can you think of anyone who would want to curse you?" She shrugs her shoulders and looks down with a somber look. "Everyone loves Nina, Mum. I don't understand who would curse her," I say. Other than it affecting Magnus, this curse hasn't seemed to have affected Nina. She looks and sounds like Nina. She is gifted with great speed and has good grades. "So how is she cursed?" Leon says. We are all at a loss and are silent in thought for a few minutes, trying to make sense of it all. There isn't much we can do other than monitor Nina and Magnus and figure out what the curse does and who is behind it. I also think we shouldn't tell anyone else about it for Nina's safety, Mother says. "Why wouldn't Nina be safe, Mum?" "Magnus, you are the future alpha of the pack. Some pack members will go to great lengths to protect you. Many would even kill to keep you safe." Nina and I give each other a concerned look and nod our heads in agreement. We part ways. I decide to go outside and sit on the staircase. Unexpectedly, Nina joins me and sits beside me. "Magnus, I just wanted to say how sorry I am that I caused you to be unwell and that you won't be able to shift easily. I don't want to hurt you." "It's not your fault, Nina," she cries. I place an arm over her shoulder and pull her closer as she cries into my chest. "But it is my fault. Someone cursed me, and it's hurting you." She cries. "It will be okay, Nina. We will figure this out." "Magnus? Yeah?" "Do you wish sometimes we could go back in time and change the way things were?" "Every day. I wish I wasn't stupid and didn't ignore you for 7 years." "Do you mean that, Magnus?" "Every word. We can't go back in time and change the past, but we can change the future right now." "How so?" "Let's forget the 7 years never happened. Let's be best friends again." "Really? You mean that?" My stomach flutters and my heart is racing with happiness. "Every word." She smiles. "The next day we go to school together. I'm glad you are well again." Zach smiles. Thanks, me too. I'm glad to see Nina is walking to school with us for a change. Josie smiles. Me too. I say again. Nina and I give each other a smile. We arrive at school. I have science with Nina first. We walk in giggling and laughing and take our seats at our wonky table. Great to see you two laughing for a change instead of fighting, Mr. Thompson says. We open our textbook and complete our worksheet with no drama. The bell goes for the next class. Moss approaches Nina and wraps his arms around her and lifts her up. She squeals with delight while he holds her up, and she gazes into his eyes and they kiss. As hard as it is, I keep my cool. He puts her down gently. I'll see you later, Nina, I say, waving goodbye. She waves back. I thought you hated him? I hear Moss ask her. We have put our differences aside and are once again friends. I see, he says in a deep voice. He glares at me. Let's get to class, babe, before we're late, he says and leads her away. Claire races towards me. I'm glad you're better. Let's get to English class, she says, holding my arm. It was lunchtime before I knew. Claire and I made our way to the cafeteria. Nina waves and smiles at me from her table with Moss by her side. I wave back. Why are you waving at Nina? Magnus? Claire asks. Because she is my friend, Claire? But I thought you weren't talking to each other anymore? Well, we are now, I say and munch on my food. I have a good chat with Flint, Zach, Paul, and Josie. May keeps quiet but glares at Claire the whole time. The bell rings. What class do we have, Flint? PE? Great. PE with Moss. Way to ruin my day. Flint, Paul, and I change into our shorts and tank shirts and hit the oval. Moss keeps up with us, trying to intimidate me, but it doesn't work. We completely ignore him and finish the 3 laps. Right, boys, time for some dodgeball. Mr. Tilley announces, I want you all to form 2 groups. We form 2 groups. Moss is on the opposite team. Mr. Tilley places his hand on my shoulder. This team will throw the balls first. The other team is to dodge the balls and not get hit. My team lines up and we throw them at random members of the opposite team. Moss is the last one on the oval still playing. He has great stamina and agility, but is not as good as me. I aim the ball carefully and throw the ball. It taps his chest. You're out, Moss, I say with a smirk. He glares. Right, swap sides now, boys. Mr. Tilley yells. As we pass each other, Moss whacks my shoulder with his. I want to rip his head off, but I contain my anger and ignore him, which seems to make Moss even angrier. He kept aiming for me and missing. He was throwing the ball with significant force, hoping to injure me. I'm the last player on the oval, and it's been over 20 minutes. Mr. Tilley blows his whistle. Time to pack up, and Magnus, well done, he says. I walk away with Flint, Zach, and Paul back towards the school building until I feel a sudden pain in the back of my head and everything goes black. I wake up in the nurse's office with a throbbing headache and look around the room. Flint is with me. What happened? Moss decided dodgeball wasn't over yet. He ran up behind you and threw the ball at her head with all his strength and knocked you out. He is currently being scolded in the principal's office. Nina runs into the nurse station and takes my hand. I heard what happened. He should not have done that. I'm so sorry. I will talk to Moss and make sure he does nothing stupid again. Nina, it's not your fault. You don't need to apologize. He just doesn't like we are friends again, but he will have to accept it. Claire runs in, takes my hand from Nina's grip. Boo-boo, are you okay? Yeah, every minute that goes by, the pain subsides. The nurse walks in. That's because you have your wolf now. You will heal quickly. She smiles. Do you feel okay to return to class? Yes, I think I'll be fine, I say and get up from the bed. Thanks for checking on me, Nina. I appreciate it, I say, waving. Claire glares at me for a moment. You know boo-boo, she says as we walk away. I think you're spending too much time with Nina. I'm feeling very neglected, you know? I think you might be over-exaggerating, Claire. I only have science with her and wave to her when we cross paths at school. Although we both live in the pack house, we don't see each other there often other than mealtimes, and even then, her seat is at the other end of the table. I have more subjects with you than I do, Nina. She perks up a bit. Well, when you put it that way. She smiles. My wolf is restless and wants to go for a run. I want to shift and race through the woods, but I push it to the back of my mind, remembering the witch had advised me to avoid shifting. I'm happy it's the end of the school day. Claire kisses me goodbye, and I catch up with Zach, Flint, Josie, May, and Nina. Want to climb some trees? I say. All of us? Nina asks. I nod. Last one there is a rotten egg, Josie yells. We all race each other through the woods on the way home to our favorite tree climbing spot near the lake. Nina is the first to arrive, then me, Flint, Josie, and Zach. Zach's the rotten egg, Josie laughs. We climb the trees. Burning my excess energy was helping to keep my wolf at bay. We reach the top and sit together, silently watching the village of Shadow Crest for a while. The restlessness was returning. We climb halfway down the tree and I take my shirt and pants off and jump from the branch into the deep lake. Droplets of water from the splash reach the others. Magnus! They all laugh. Once they climb down, they hopped into the lake. You boys have to turn around so you don't see our bra and knickers, Josie yells. Zach, Flint, and I roll our eyes and face the other way in the water. May, Josie, and Nina strip down. Josie yells out once they are shoulder deep in the water. You can look now. We turn back around and splash the girls. They squeal and splash us back. Let's see who can hold their breath the longest, 2 at a time. The winner goes on. Josie says, Flint and Josie go first. Josie wins. It's Zach's turn to go against her. This time, Zach wins and goes against May. Zach wins and goes against Nina, and Nina wins. It's my turn to go against her. On the count of 3, we both sink deep down into the lake together. We are a good 2 meters under. We come closer to each other, trying not to laugh as we will lose air. Suddenly, our eyes connect, and we relax in the water. My hand slowly reaches to her face and holds her cheek. My thumb caresses her skin, and she turns her face closer in my hand, closing her eyes. When she opens her eyes, I'm closer. I want to taste her lips. We inch closer and closer until our lips almost brush each other. A sudden force pulls Nina up out of the water. Confused, I swim straight up after her. May is pulling Nina's hair and trying to scratch her face. You know I like him. How could you? She screams. It's bad enough I have to see him with that skank Claire, but you, Nina? And you always wonder why I never see you as my sister, she screams. Flint and Zach pull May away from Nina, who is now crying. Nothing happened, May, she yells back. That's only because I stopped you. She storms out of the lake and grabs her clothes. I quickly pull Nina towards me and she flinches. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay, she cries. We will go find May and bring her home. Zach says. Flint goes with him. Magnus, we can't do this. That was too close. And you're with Claire and I'm with Moss. It isn't right. I know, but it feels right. You will be 18 next week, Magnus. You already have your wolf, which means you can find your mate now. And in case you haven't noticed, we aren't mates as you would have felt the mate bond. I also assume Claire isn't your mate because if she was, the mate bond would keep you by her side. My heart sinks. I hadn't even thought about the mate bond. The warm tingle, the electricity that runs through your body when you touch each other, wasn't there. I had made eye contact with Nina and Claire, and my wolf never submerged and declared either of them as my mate. Claire is going to be hurt when you tell her she isn't your mate, but it will hurt her more if you stay with her and find your mate in the meantime. Again, she is right. I look down into her eyes for a moment. I try to memorize this moment. Her beautiful doe-like eyes always get my heart racing. Magnus, I'm sorry. We can be friends. But from a distance, I think it's better if we stay apart as much as possible for the sake of the future Luna and your mate, and for the sake of us getting hurt. I'll be 18 only a couple of months after you, and I'll have my wolf and be able to tell if Moss is not my mate. Then I will have to end the relationship and pursue my fated mate, just like you have to do. Before I can say anything, she gives me an empathetic look and swims out of the lake away from me and returns to the pack house. I stay in the lake, frozen in place for what feels like an hour. As I leave the lake, I look at my pruned fingers and collect my clothing from the ground. I return to the pack house, now dry and dressed. Nina isn't anywhere to be seen. She is in her room, in case you are wondering, Flint says. She said she wants to be left alone and will have dinner in her room tonight. Josie frowns. May comes storming her way across the hall towards me. As she opens her mouth to yell at me, I quickly speak first. May, can I talk to you privately for a moment? Her feet come to a stop and she gives me a look of confusion, which turns into a look of hope. Yes, I think we are definitely overdue for a private moment. She smiles. We go outside into the courtyard, away from prying eyes and ears. May, you should be the first to know that Nina nor Claire are my mate. What? How'd you know that? Remember, my wolf arrived early, which means I can sense my mate now. Oh, but wait, that means I'm not your mate either, am I? I'm sorry, May, I never meant to hurt you and I never meant to hurt Nina, and now I have to break up with Claire tomorrow at school, who is also going to be hurt by it. Today in the lake, that was me. That wasn't Nina's fault, and it was unfair of you to attack her like that. Just as I owe you an apology, you also owe Nina one as well. She sighs and looks away, thinking about it. You're right. Jealousy got the better of me. She probably wishes I was dead. I've always been so nasty to her because I had seen the way she looks at you. Nina loves you, May. She would never wish that upon you. She even tried to protect you against Claire that day you got into a fight. You're right. I don't deserve her forgiveness. I place my hand on her shoulder. Leave that for Nina to decide. May wipes the tears from her eyes. Thanks, Magnus. I don't want to go to school today knowing I have to end things with Claire. Sometimes I have to wonder if it's me who has a curse. Everyone who seems to care for me ends up hurt. I force my feet out of bed, knowing what needs to be done. I get myself dressed, wash my face in the basin, and head downstairs for breakfast. Everyone is already halfway through breakfast. I must have slept in. Everyone greets me, except for Nina. Her eyes stare vacantly at her bowl of cereal as she swivels the milk around with her spoon, lost in thought. As soon as I sit down, she stands up and grabs her school bag to leave. In a hurry? Leon asks her. I'm meeting up with Moss so we can walk to school together. Okay, honey. You have a great day. Thanks, I will, Dad. She runs out the door. Zach, May, and Josie are ready to leave. I grab my bag and join them. Have you talked to Nina yet? I ask May. No, last night I went to her room, but she ignored me and wouldn't open the door. Nina has gone through a lot. She just needs some time, then the opportunity to talk will arise. I hope so. She frowns. We arrive at the school. I walk to my locker and hear my pet name being called. Boo Boo, I missed you. Claire smiles. She leans up to give me a kiss, but I take a step back. Claire, we need to talk. What's the matter, Boo Boo? There is something I need to tell you, and I'd prefer to tell you privately. Whatever you have to say, you can say it here. I'm sure it's not that bad, whatever it is. Claire, you know how I have my wolf now? Yes. Well, that means I can sense and feel my mate, and I don't feel the mate bond with you. Claire lets out a loud gasp, gaining the attention of anyone nearby. What are you saying, Magnus? What I'm saying is, you're not my mate. Our relationship needs to end. You're only going to get hurt if we stay together, and I find my fated mate. You're dumping me in front of everyone at school? I suggested I talk to you privately. Claire bursts into tears. How dare you break up with me? No one breaks up with me. Claire, I'm sorry, but it's over. I take my textbook from my locker and head to English class. She doesn't sit next to me in her usual spot, but a few rows away, sobbing throughout the class. Claire, you have been crying throughout the class. It's rather distracting, you know. Do you need to go see the school nurse? No, Magnus broke up with me. She blurts out and cries even louder. All the girls in the class whisper amongst each other and smile at me. The bell rings, and I walk to my next class with a dozen girls following close behind. I completely ignore them and walk into science. Nina sits at our wonky table in silence. Hey, Nina. Hey, she says quietly and focuses on the notes in her textbook. I was thinking maybe we could go to the library today and study up about curses. It might help us find out more about yours. Shh, someone might hear you. I'll go to the library after school by myself. We need to avoid each other until you find your mate. I'm only sitting at this table with you because Mr. Thompson made us lab partners and we don't get a say in it. Knowing Nina doesn't want to be around me after we already missed 7 years of friendship together is taking a toll on me. At lunch, I decide to spend it in the library and research curses to help Nina. I've spent 20 minutes searching for a book about curses and cannot even find one. I see Pipsqueak at her usual table. Psst, Pipsqueak. She looks around the library. Over here, I loudly whisper. Magnus, she says, standing up from her chair as she approaches me. Is everything all right? I need your help. What kind of help? If I wanted to study curses, where would I find the right book? Oh, curses or any type of magic isn't allowed, Magnus. Those books aren't out here with the other books. We would get in big trouble if we studied any kind of witchery, voodoo, or magic. Where are they kept then? In the T-Town library behind lock and key, in our room out of sight. Do you know where? Yes. Great, meet me at the town library after school, I say, taking my leave. But 4 p.m. sharp, I yell, and don't be late. The school bell rings, I run to my locker, take what I need. I shut my locker door to find Zach, May, and Josie standing there. Ready to go home, bro? Flint says. I have a school project I need to work on. I'll be home late for dinner. Tell Mum and Dad not to worry about me. I run down the corridor, past Nina and Moss making out, and let out a growl. They stop kissing and watch me continue running. My wolf wants to come out. Pain soars through my body. I stop running and lean on some lockers and fight my wolf to contain itself. Once I'm in full control, I race to the town library. Pipsqueak is waiting out the front. Are you okay, Magnus? Why are you drenched, eye in sweat? I'll be fine. I had to fight my wolf back. Oh, so there were rumors you have your wolf are true? Yes. Magnus, I know you want to see these books, but we will get into so much trouble. You should reconsider this. No, I have to do this, Pipsqueak. I don't have any other choice. Why? What has happened? I can't tell you. Only the high-ranking wolves in the pack know, and I've been told to not tell anyone else. Oh, okay, I just might not be as much help if I don't know what it is you are trying to find the answer to. For now, let's just get inside that room. Pipsqueak nods and gestures for me to follow her. We enter the library, and she leads me to the librarian's desk. See the office over there? Inside is another door at the back. It's locked, and that is where the forbidden books are. Where is the key? Pipsqueak points at the librarian at her desk, scanning the box of returned books. I can see a ring of keys dangling by her side. How are we meant to get the keys when she is wearing them? You go distract her. I'll sneak up behind her and take them. I nod my head and approach the librarian. Why, hello, miss, I say, gazing into the librarian's eyes. Yes, how can I help you? I was wondering if you fell from heaven? Excuse me? Well, heaven called and said they are missing an angel, and I know a sweet angel when I see one. I wink. The librarian, twice my age, blushes, while Pipsqueak face-palms herself. Oh my, she giggles. I continue to flirt with her. Pipsqueak successfully takes the keys and tiptoes into the back office. I'll see you around, dollface. I blow a kiss goodbye to the librarian. She sits down and fans her face as I walk away.